Now, what we have heard so far, and what we will hear even more now, is that in order to protect the safety and the security of the people, governments will argue for the necessity for more surveillance. We are told that more surveillance will make us safer, and if we are too protective and too concerned with our private lives, then we will not be able to catch the bad guys. Now, this might seem to be a logical argument, but actually, if you go and study it and research it, it is actually not. You see, in order to monitor every piece of communication will only reduce hopes of preventing future attacks, since not only me, but also, and even more importantly, former FBI Special Agent Colleen Rowley, who was a Time Magazine Person of the Year, who argues that mass surveillance makes preventing terrorism and catching bad guys less likely, not more likely. He also said that discovering people through surveillance who were preparing for a terrorist act is like finding a needle in a haystack. And if it is difficult to find a needle in a haystack, why should we add more hay to it? Rowley continues to say that I fear that terrorists will succeed in carrying out future attacks, not despite the massive collected awe, dragnet approach to intelligence implemented since 9/11, but because of it. The approach has made terrorist activity more difficult to spot and prevent. Fascinating, and Rowley explains that the CIA had only about 16 names on a terrorist watch list back in September 2001, and probably most were justified, but there's no way the million names reportedly now on the terrorist identities data marked environment list can be very accurate. The decision to elevate quantity over quality did nothing to increase accuracy, unblock intelligence stovepipes, or prevent terrorist attacks. So I mean, to politicize such an horrific event and claim that these terrorist attacks could have been prevented and can be prevented in the future only if we increase more surveillance is grounded in mere political fantasy and ideological fantasy than mere fact and data which has been shown. Accordingly, the UK government with Theresa May has launched a very forceful surveillance program that does not only focus on violent extremists but also on non-violent extremists. Now I'm actually researching this program which she has launched and the different legislations for my essay. And one of the questions that I have raised is, all right, but how do you define extremism? Who is an extremist? Because in the 30s it was the Nazis, in the 60s it was the communists, now it's Islamic fundamentalists and terrorists, but non-violent extremists? Non-violent extremists are part of a national threat, and a non-violent can be anybody. Could I be a non-violent extremist simply because I'm making clips like this, calling for people to think for themselves, and that the present counter-terrorism initiatives by the West, the counter-justice model and the war model, that they are simply not working, but they are creating and fueling extremism? Could you be a non-violent extremist simply for watching a clip like this? So pay very close attention to increased surveillance and limited free speech here in the West due to the attacks in Paris